Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys have been doing well. In today's video, I'll be covering Gains Network. It's a decentralized leverage trading platform. You can take up to 150x leverage on cryptos, stocks, and up to 1000x leverage on Forex. And this protocol is more nuanced than what you guys are accustomed to. A lot of the other protocols out there and centralized exchanges, they'll use a funding rate to help peg the price to the spot price. In this case, the mechanism is unique, and I'll be covering that in this video. And even if you're not a trader, I think it's worthwhile to watch the video and get to know the nuances between Gains Network and some of the other leverage trading platforms. Because from an investment standpoint, I do think that this is one vertical in DeFi that's yet to gain some traction, but at some point will. I'll have to give you guys my entire outlook towards the end of the video, but just to give you guys a little bit up front, number one, I could see users that are using, let's say, the centralized exchanges to do all their leverage trading. I could see some of them shift over to protocols that don't require KYC. Because at times it's not just about, circumventing taxes. A lot of the times, because of the jurisdiction you live in, you're not able to access certain services on exchanges. And in some cases, you can't even access the exchange at all, like Binance International. Also, from an investment standpoint, these protocols are actually profitable in a bear market. And when the bull market comes, I'm sure they'll be even more profitable. So if you're a token holder, unlike the previous generation of DeFi protocols and their tokens, you can actually stake your token and earn some of the revenue. And in this case, it's like getting revenue from the casino. Now, a lot of the stuff that I discussed in this video, I've covered in my private Discord. You guys can join for free by clicking the link in the description below. Personally, during this bear market, I'm doing research and I'm growing my network because it's almost impossible to cover everything. So it's nice having a Discord with a bunch of people that are like-minded, that have the same goals. And with that large group, you're able to cover more ground. In fact, in my Discord, we've had people post opportunities that have led to 10 to 20x gains in a relatively short period of time. So if you wanted to optimize your chances of succeeding in the next bull market, join as many alpha discords out there as you can. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this video. All right, to begin the video, let me give you guys a quick overview on how everything works. So let's say you wanted to go ahead and open a position. Currently, the only collateral that Gains Network accepts is DAI. And if you're depositing, let's say $1,000 worth of DAI into this leverage trading platform, we actually need more than $1,000 worth of DAI in here in order for you to successfully open the trade. And so at the moment, they actually allow people to also deposit DAI into the vault and earn a piece of the trading fees that are generated from the traders. So you or I could actually go to Gains Network right now, deposit the DAI, and we would be earning 15% APY. And of course, remember, this is going to fluctuate up and down depending on how much DAI is deposited and the volume that's being traded. Now, let's say despite the money that all of us have been putting into the vault, there's not enough money for some of these whales to execute their trade. In that scenario, Gains Network will mint GNS tokens, sell them for DAI, and deposit them into the vault. Now, conversely, let's imagine that the exact opposite is true. And we've had a lot of people that ended up losing trades, the volume has diminished, and the protocol has determined that we actually have an excess of DAI in the vault. And remember, if there's too much DAI, then people are less likely to deposit money into the vault. So that's another reason why you want to go ahead and remove the excess as much as you can. But anyhow, let's say the protocol determines there's excess DAI in the vault. That DAI will get removed. It'll be used to market buy GNS, and that GNS will be burned. And so this is how the supply of GNX can expand and contract depending on the overall success of the protocol. Now, for this model to be sustainable and viable, in fact, that's what generally happens. Whether that's on an exchange or a DeFi protocol, most people end up losing. And if that trend continues and the protocol continues to generate money from losing trades, then long-term, the supply of GNS is going to go down. Currently, it's sitting at 29 million as I'm recording this video. So if you're watching this 6 months into the future, a year into the future, go ahead and look at what the current circulating supply is, because if it's gone up, that implies that the protocol hasn't been very profitable. If it's gone down, that of course means that it remained profitable. And if you're thinking about depositing DAI into the vault in order to get this yield here, Just remember what I said, most traders have to lose. Otherwise, you're also gonna end up losing out because these traders, their profits are gonna be taken from the vault. If most of them end up winning, you may be earning 15%, but your principal, the deposit amount that you put in is gonna go down significantly. So just take that into account before you guys deposit any DAI into the vault. Now here's the trading platform itself. It's super easy to set up. Remember, this is on the Polygon network. So make sure your wallet is connected to Polygon before starting. You'll need some Matic to cover the transactions and also DAI as collateral for your trade. Now it's super easy to use. Let's say you wanted to trade, I don't know, one of these altcoins here. Just add it to your favorites and it should populate here. Once it populates, make sure that you have sufficient DAI in your wallet, depending on the size of the trade that you want to take. Now, once it's added, just click on it and you can begin trading. You can trade up to 150x because it's crypto. And remember I said in the beginning of the video, you can trade up to 1000x on 4x. Once you've added to your favorites, go ahead and click on the ticker, after which you can proceed to trading. So the first line here is how much leverage you want to put. Remember I said with crypto, it's up to 150x. Then you decide how much collateral you want to deposit. So let's say I want to open a position that's worth $4,000. I would need 1,000 DAI in order to open that position. And you can double check by coming here. You can see that my total position size is 4,000 DAI. The fee is 2.4 DAI. And then the liquidation price is $34.18 if I long sold here. Another thing I like about this protocol is the fact that you can set up a stop loss and you can also set a predetermined level at which you want to take profits at. This way you can go ahead and execute the trade, and also you can manage your risk without having to be at the computer. Eventually, I would imagine that the entire user experience is going to be improved. Unless something catastrophic happens or regulators come after them, I think they're going to continue to iterate on the protocol. And who knows, at some point we might even see a mobile application materialize. But until that happens, you guys will have to manage with what they have here. And let's say you're new to trading or you're new to trading on chain, you can actually get some practice in before committing any real capital. You'll have to go ahead and switch the network to the Polygon Mumbai test network. And that's pretty super easy to do. You just go to your MetaMask wallet, add network, put in these parameters, and you'll be all set up. And you also need testnet Matic. And to get that testnet Matic, just come here to the Gains Network documentation page, click here, copy and paste your address, and then within a couple minutes, you should see the testnet Matic arrive in your address. But just to make it easier for you guys, I'll make sure to include this link in the description below. So once you have your testnet wallet set up, you have 0.2 Matic in there, then go ahead and you're gonna come down here and it'll give you an option to claim your free 10,000 DAI. Once you do that, you should be ready to go. Here on the staking page, you can go ahead and deposit DAI into the vault that I was talking about. You can also go ahead and take some insurance against it. And remember, when you get insurance in DeFi, make sure you read all the conditions, because in my experience, the insurance is rarely comprehensive. So rather than getting surprised, make sure you read the fine print. And you can also provide liquidity to the GNS DAI pool. The current APY for this pool here is 74%. About 16% comes from the leverage trading fees, but the lion's share comes from the quick swap fees. You're getting about 40%. And I think the reason why that yield is so high is because the protocol is constantly minting and selling DAI, or it's using DAI to buy GNS tokens to burn. Now in this segment of the video, I'm going to show you guys how they determine the price of the assets that they support. Like I mentioned earlier in my video, most of the platforms that allow you to trade leverage products support perps, perpetual. And perpetuals use a funding rate to peg the price of the derivative to the spot price. So basically what they're doing is they're generating their own prices for their derivative products. Now, much like the Gains Network, they also use Chainlink's price feed, but they use it to compute the funding rate, to look at the difference between the spot price and the price of the futures contract. So if you have experience trading perpetuals, or if you've traded perpetuals, you know from first-hand experience that the mark price is always different from the spot price. And this model that most of them use is actually more expensive for the user, because in addition to the platform fees that they're paying, they're also paying a funding fee. Here on Gains Network, users aren't charged a funding fee. So with Gains Network, instead of the funding rate, you have on-demand oracles that aggregate data from 7 different APIs, so basically 7 different exchanges. The median price is taken from these 7 exchange APIs, and it's sent to the aggregator contract. Now, after the aggregator contract receives this price, it checks the price with the corresponding Chainlink price feed to filter for any outliers. Once it's filtered and it's determined that the price difference isn't more than 1.5%, contract gets executed, meaning the trade gets executed. Now, because they're using multiple APIs and nodes, this reduces the chances of having a single point of failure, at least with the data that's coming in. And I think one of the big benefits of using this type of model, as opposed to, let's say, using an exchange, if you're using an exchange, one player could come in, or let's say liquidity profile changes, you could have a huge move down on one single exchange. And if it happens to be the exchange that you were using, maybe you end up getting liquidated. And if you had used another exchange, or if you used Gains Network, you probably wouldn't have gotten liquidated. So in other words, what I'm saying is that isolated volatility or price discrepancies that you may see on a single exchange, you're unlikely to see that with something like Gains Network. All right, in this last segment, we're going to go over the NFTs real quick. These NFTs are limited in supply, and they actually give users some perks. For example, if you get the diamond tier, you actually get a 13% boost and a 35% reduction in your spread if you're doing a trade. Here it states you can actually stake up to 3 NFTs for the boost in LP rewards, which implies that you can actually get 3 diamond NFTs, and that would give you a boost of 39%. And if you're bullish on the platform long term, I think NFTs are probably the best way to make that bet. The downside is that if you're wrong, you're going to lose a lot more money, and the NFTs are likely to be illiquid. But on the flip side, if this platform does really well, these are going to be in very high demand. So you're going to get many more multiples on the NFTs in that setting than you would by buying the GNS token. And as the ecosystem, as the platform, the protocol grows, expands, becomes more successful, you're going to see more and more utility features added to these NFTs. So again, long term, I think these NFTs have much more upside than the tokens. Well, that pretty much wraps up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. I will be making another video, a separate video on a tutorial. I show you guys how to do a trade step by step. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in using Gains Network. And as I stated in my intro, if you haven't joined my Discord, make sure to do so. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description below to join. And I also have a private section in the Discord where you can chat with me directly. I tend to be a lot more responsive there. And we got some gigabrains in there that are constantly sharing quality alpha with one another. And more importantly, it gives you an opportunity to network. And one of the best things you can do in this bear market is expand your network. Because speaking from personal experience, there's been countless times where I've gotten quality alpha from one of my buddies. And I'm talking about somebody I've never met in real life. We just met on Discord. He was watching my YouTube videos, ended up becoming a Patreon. We've talked a few times over voice chat, and all of a sudden we're talking almost on a daily to weekly basis, and he's giving me quality alpha all the time. And remember, it's just not the person that you're talking to. I'm sure that person is talking to many, many other people, but just by knowing that one person, you're going to be able to cover a lot more ground than you would have by yourself. So if that intrigues you, make sure you go ahead and check out my Patreon. It's linked in the description below as well. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. This is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.